Is the Edmonton Oilers' rumor flirtation with Kiefer Sherwood nothing more than a desperate, short-sighted grab for grit that could squander precious assets on a journeyman grinder who's riding a hot streak, but destined to fizzle out like so many depth darlings before him, leaving us stuck in the same cycle of almost good enough that has defined our playoff heartbreaks? That's the blistering hot take scorching through NHL analysis circles right now, with voices like Mike Johnson on TSN torching the idea as a classic Oilers trap, chasing physicality over true skill, when what they really need is a top 6 game breaker, not another bottom line banger who will vanish in the playoffs. Welcome back to Oilers Update, your unfiltered beacon for the raw, unvarnished truth in orange and blue hockey. I'm your host, firing up the debate with the intensity this rumor demands. Today, October 30th, 2025, we're ripping apart the buzz linking us to Vancouver Canucks forward Kiefer Sherwood, exposing why the so-called energetic depth ad smells like a potential disaster that distracts from our real needs and risks derailing our cup chase with yet another overhyped role player. This isn't about hating on a hard-working guy. It's about facing the cold reality. Sherwood's a fine fourth liner on a good day, but pursuing him screams of settling for scraps when we should be hunting lions, and it's time to kill this rumor before it costs us dearly. Let's dive in, dismantle the hype, and chart why the Oilers must pivot to bolder targets if we're serious about ending our 35-year drought. Because in oil country, we've romanticized grit long enough. It's time for genuine upgrades that deliver when the lights are brightest. Let's cut to the smoke and mirrors right away, because the rumor mill is spinning this Kiefer Sherwood pursuit as some savvy mid-season masterstroke for the Oilers. But a closer look reveals it's built on shaky foundations that could crumble under the weight of playoff pressure. The news broke from sources like Bob Stauffer on Oilers Now, painting Sherwood as an ideal third-line energizer bunny, a 29-year-old winger with 6 goals in 10 games this season, leading Vancouver in hits and bringing that relentless forecheck to bolster our bottom 6. His $1.5 million expiring contract makes him a cheap rental, and with Vancouver potentially not re-signing him amid their cap crunch, they're projected at just $4 million in space next summer. The Oilers could swoop in for a low-cost ad to inject physicality and secondary scoring. On the surface, it sounds tempting. Our third line has been middling, averaging 1.4 points per game early this season, 19th in the league, and Sherwood's 2.1 hits per game and 13.6% shooting percentage could add some snarl, especially alongside grinders like Corey Perry or Evander Kane. Stauffer hyped him as a perfect fit for his versatility, able to slot into the second or third line and contribute on the penalty kill, where we rank 15th at 80.2% efficiency. But here's where the hot take ignites. This is fool's gold, a mirage of grit that distracts from our glaring need for actual skill and consistency. Sherwood's hot start is inflated by playing on a Canucks team that's 5-3-2, but ranks 12th in scoring, 3.1 goals per game. Strip away that context, and his career numbers tell a tale of mediocrity. Just 38 goals in 238 NHL games across Nashville, Colorado, and Vancouver, with a career 0.38 points per game average. Analysts like Sean Gendel from The Athletic are scorching this rumor, calling it a depth trap the Oilers can't afford. Sherwood's a fourth-line plugger at best, peaking now on a fluke streak, but he'll regress to his 10-goal norm, leaving Edmonton with another Adam Erne situation. And they're spot on. Remember our 2023 ad of Nick Jugstad for physical depth? He chipped in 3 playoff goals but vanished when it mattered. Sherwood feels like that Redix, a guy who's fun to watch in the regular season, but lacks the high-end skill to elevate us against elite defenses like Florida's or Colorado's. Pivoting to the first pillar of this hot take, Sherwood's physical presence is overhyped as a cure-all when what the Oilers truly lack is consistent secondary scoring and playmaking that doesn't evaporate in the playoffs, making this pursuit a misguided distraction from bolder, more impactful targets. Sure, his league-leading hits, 3.2 per game this season, and forechecking energy could add some sandpaper to our bottom 6, which have been outscored 12-8 in even strength play early on. But data from Natural Stat Trick paints a damning picture. Sherwood's lines have controlled just 49.8% of shot attempts this year, below average, and his 1.6 expected goals per 60 ranks him outside the top 100 forwards. Hardly defensive contributor, Stauffer claims. The controversy boils over in debates on spittin' chiclets, where hosts like Ryan Whitney blast it as Oilers falling for the grit mid again. Sherwood's a hitter, not a hitter-maker. He'll rack up checks, but won't create the space McDavid needs for magic. Compare what we actually require. A winger like Jake DeBrusk, who Boston let walk, or even pursuing Frank Vatrano from Anaheim. Guys with 30-goal upside and proven playoff chops. DeBrusk had 11 points in 13 games last postseason. Sherwood's career playoff stats? A paltry 2 points in 12 games with Nashville, where he was a non-factor. In Edmonton's system, relying on rush plays, we lead with 1.5 rush goals per game. His modest speed, 20.8 miles per hour top burst per NHL edge, and average puck skills, 0.9 takeaways per game, won't generate the high danger chances we need. Instead, he'll be a black hole for possession, much like Warren Fogiel was before we traded him. The hottest opinions on Twitter and Reddit are unanimous. This is Bowman cheaping out. Sherwood's a Canucks cast-off waiting to happen, and trading for him means admitting our depth is broken without fixing it properly. It's a valid roast. We built around McDavid, 22 points in 10 games, and Draisaitl, 13 goals. But our third line's 45.2% Corsi is a red flag. Adding Sherwood might bump hits, but won't solve the scoring drought that doomed us in last year's finals, where bottom six forwards managed just 8 goals in 25 games. Next, the financial and trade realities make this rumor even more dubious, as Vancouver's leverage in Sherwood's impending free agency could force the Oilers into an overpay for a player who's more rental risk than long-term reward, draining our limited assets without guaranteeing impact. His $1.5 million expiring deal is affordable, but with projected $4 million AAV extension per evolving hockey, signing him long-term ties up cap space we need for Bouchard's raise, $9-10 million, and other moves, especially with our $17.7 million projection for next year already tight. Vancouver, at 5-4-1 and pushing for playoffs, isn't desperate to sell. GM Patrick Alvin could demand a second-round pick or prospect, like Bo Akey, assets we can't afford to lose after depleting our pool in recent all-in pushes. The hot take gaining steam on the Hockey PDO cast is that Oilers are bidding against themselves. Calgary or Seattle could snag him cheaper, but Edmonton overpays for energy guys like they did with Zach Cashin, who flamed out after one good year. Sherwood's agent changed signals he's chasing a payday, and if he walks as a UFA, we're left with nothing but regret, much like losing Dylan Strome in 2018. Competitors like the Flames, with $22 million cap and picks galore, or Canucks rival could outbid us, turning this into a bidding war we lose. The debated opinion from Frank Saravalli is scorching. Sherwood's a flash, not a fixture. His 6 goals are unsustainable, 18.2% shooting versus career 10.5%, and trading for him mid-season is a panic move that ignores bigger fish like Cam Atkinson or Riley Smith. It's a brutal truth. Our bottom 6 needs scoring punch, not just hits. Sherwood's 0.48 points per game career average won't cut it against top teams, where physicality alone gets neutralized, see our 2-1 loss to Carolina, where depth was out-hit but outscored. Finally, projecting forward, biting on Sherwood could lock the Oilers into a pattern of incremental tweaks that perpetuate our good but not great status, stunting growth when we need transformative adds to match powerhouses like Florida or Colorado. If acquired, he might add 15 to 20 points and 200 hits, boosting our physicality ranking. Currently 14th at 22 hits per game, but simulations from Puckpedia show it adding just 1 to 2 wins, negligible for our 70% playoff odds. In playoffs, his style shines in Grindfest but falters against skill. He was -3 in Nashville's 2022 sweep, leaving us vulnerable. The hottest take from Dropping the Glove podcast is that this is Oilers repeating history, chasing energy like they did with Milan Lucic, who aged out fast. Sherwood's 29, peaking now, but regression looms, and we'll be stuck with a $4 million cap hit for a fourth liner. Instead, target proven scorers like Vladimir Tarasenko, UFA potential, or trade for Nick Paul from Tampa. Players with 25 goal upside and cup rings. Pursuing Sherwood projects a future of safe, uninspired depth, not the bold evolution needed for McDavid's prime. It's time to quash this rumor and aim higher. In torching this Sherwood rumor, we've exposed it as a tempting but treacherous distraction, a grit-over skill trap that could hinder our cup hunt, reaffirming that true contention demands elite adds, not energetic fillers. But that's my scorching take. Sherwood's a pass. Is he the hidden gem we need or a total trap? Ignite the comments with your fiery opinions below. Hit like if this burned bright, and subscribe for more unapologetic Oilers analysis. Let's keep the heat on.